And right now it's time for that time when we have our special guest. Tonight's special guest is chiropractor Jean-Paul Pianta on a brief visit to New Zealand. Known as the Doctor to the Stars, Jean-Paul can claim over 15 chiefs of state as his clients. We welcome Jean-Paul Pianta as our special guest on The Beat Goes On. Jean-Paul, welcome to The Beat Goes On.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
And also, can I say, welcome to New Zealand, all the way from France. What would a Frenchman be doing in New Zealand?
Because I got an invitation
Yep.
to come to New Zealand from the president of this chiropractic college. I met on the herd in Malaga in Spain a few months ago, last May. I am very happy to be here because I know the world. I've been all around, but I never came to New Zealand.
Never been to New Zealand before?
Never, ever. And I'm fascinated that New Zealand, the whole New Zealand population is about half the population of Paris.
Yeah.
And I'm fascinated to see how much impact you've got in the world.
To the
Well,
world?
not only that, you have a good impact. You've got a very good image. Everybody likes New Zealand and the New Zealander. Worldwide, I can tell you that.
Now you're here in New Zealand for a chiropractic conference.
Yes.
Tell us all about that. What's that all about?
Well, chiropractic is booming in the world in terms of number of practitioners and number of people using it. And you've got a tremendous chance in New Zealand to have a very good college, which is already known worldwide. It's not very old college, but I think it's 16 years old. But because of the input of the president, Brian Kelly, this college is reaching masses worldwide. As far as quality is concerned, and the young people coming out are perfectly formed, and it's very good for New Zealand.
Now, just in case some of our viewers don't know, what is chiropractic? What is a chiropractor?
A chiropractor is a man who works differently than a medical doctor. We don't treat symptoms, we treat people. We look at people. We are not interested first by pathologies, but we are interested by life, what's happening within a human person. And it's fascinating because there are not two human beings the same in the entire world, as you know. And in the history of mankind, people say there might have been 85 billion people altogether, but you are the first one of your kind. I never met a mind like you.
Yes.
Chiropractic respects individuality and look at the person as a whole, not only the point that hurts, but the whole thing. So, yeah.
And here in New Zealand, most people know that a chiropractor will fix your back, but it's more than that, isn't it? It's a way of looking at life. That's what you're saying?
You are completely right.
Yeah.
It's a way of thinking.
Yeah.
It's a way to look at people too, the respect of life, the respect of individuality, and it is never dangerous, never hurts anybody. In 40 years practicing, I have never heard of any accident from all my colleagues everywhere and seminars and meetings and stuff. It just never happens. And it's a way of thinking, not only to treat the symptoms, but to try to understand why. Why is this situation here? So in order to understand, because they are not two people the same, you really need each time to look at the whole thing. Does it come from the feet? Does it come from the back? Does it come from the teeth? Does it come from birth? So it's quite interesting because it's not boring, it's never the same.
As a chiropractor, you have lots of people visit you, and after a while, the way the person speaks, the way the person carries himself, and the way that their attitude, you can tell a lot from a person, even when they walk into the clinic, can't they?
You are completely right.
Yeah.
It's a very, very important point that you bring because it has to do with looking. The chiropractor must look, not only again the spot where it hurts, but the whole thing. And the posture says a lot.
Yes.
You know, there is, if you have a bad posture, you are losing energy against gravity, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, it makes you tired, and it's more work for your entire body. So your immune system goes down, your resistance goes down, and you are not as effective.
What a wonderful feeling you must have that when a person comes in, you can obviously see they're not well, and yet after a treatment by yourself, you can see a person absolutely start to blossom.
There is no free adjustment. By free, I mean that whatever energy you send, energy cannot be lost. It is integrated one way or another. So there is nobody that comes to my office and leaves my office the same way. It's impossible.
Yeah.
It just doesn't exist.
Wow.
Something happens. Something's got to happen.
Now, I guarantee you get to meet some wonderful people. You've got to meet wonderful people. Tell us about some of the famous people that have come to you because they've heard about your reputation as a wonderful chiropractor.
Yes, when I had my office in Paris, I got to meet some very interesting people. And one day I got a telephone call, I will never forget, it was Saturday morning, and I was called at the Ritz Hotel in Paris, which is the nicest hotel, you know, you heard about it, Al Fayed and everything, Howard's Bath. So I went there, very impressed, and I went to the Imperial Suite there to treat somebody. And I adjusted the person. The suite was a huge room, you know, Place de la Concorde, beautiful hotel and beautiful place. And I adjusted this person. He gave me at the time $1,000 for about 10 minutes, and I left.
Yeah.
And so I go home, and I'm very happy and everything. And the following day, I get another call, and this guy calls me again. So I go there, and worried, maybe something went wrong, bad reaction, what did I do wrong and everything. And he said, no, I was very happy with what you've done yesterday. Could you please check me again? So I did it. Yeah. To make the story short, I got engaged by this person with some kind of money I could not refuse to follow him everywhere in the world. And this man just happened to be, at the time, the richest man in the world. And he had unbelievable connections. So by him and through him, I got to meet a lot of very interesting people worldwide, everywhere, in America, in Malaga, in France. So I met many artists, many political people, many presidents, and it was quite interesting.
What's the difference between the richest man in the world and an ordinary guy? Is there any difference? I mean, he's got the same body, of course, but what's his attitude like? You're working with him.
I am also happy about this question because all my life I've been trying to understand the difference between people.
Yeah.
Why are there criminals and why are there nice people and kind people? Why are there so poor people and so rich people? Where does it come from? So before we used to think it came from God. You know, it was very practical to say God. And then we thought about the genes. The genes were the good explanation. You know, genetically he was made to be a political man. And then what I've learned in 40 years is that people are exactly the same as everybody else. It's just a way of thinking, just a way to look at things, again, that makes a difference between people. But I tell you, the top world professional in sport or whatever artist, they've got the same number of joints as you and me,
yes, exactly.
The same number of muscles, the same worries, and sometimes even more worries because they are under a lot of stress and they are very lonely. This is what I found out. With this
very lonely.
Lonely.
Yes.
Because all the people around them try to take advantage, try to get media exposure and get some money out of them, some advantages, and they are used and abused. And sometimes it's very sad to see that. Yeah.
We all want to swap places with them, but we don't realize that they have all their problems, don't they?
They have the same problems as we do.
I noticed that you didn't mention a name, so obviously you're keeping that confidential, but...
it was, I can say it was Adnan Khashoggi.
Sorry?
Adnan Khashoggi.
Oh,
he was a Saudi man.
That's right.
And he was a witness in that story with President Marcos that I got to adjust to take care of. That was a funny man. And he was, because he was dealing all over the world, he was very friendly with the King Hussein too. King Hussein was one of my favorite patients.
Really?
Yes, he was a very, very interesting person, very friendly, and I really liked him a lot, quite a lot.
Any other people that you may have treated over?
Well, since I was talking about loneliness, and one person that touched me quite a lot, because she's a very humble, very sincere people, very lovely person, was Elizabeth Taylor. I got a fabulous...
You got to meet her and
I got to meet her several times, and I treat her and adjust her several times. And I have a souvenir of a lady who is polite and friendly with everybody, and extremely, extremely lonely.
So you've had a wonderful life, haven't you?
I did.
Being a chiropractor.
I still do.
Yes. Now, when you made that decision to be a chiropractor, did you realize it would lead on to some of these wonderful experiences that you had?
Chiropractic is a wonderful profession. Yeah. After working 40 years, I am even more fascinated by what we can achieve and what we can achieve with chiropractic than 40 years ago, because I've got more experience. But the results that we get open all doors. And it's a pity that some people kind of the image that it's the second medicine because we don't give drugs and things like that. But all the known people I had to take care of, they all had a private medical doctors.
Yes.
And despite that, I was called there to try to get results, and we got the results. This is why I could stay in this world for so many years. We need to get results, and if you get results, then it opens the door to presidents and known people and stars and everybody. It's always different. It's always new persons, new things to see, and there is always something to learn. This is what I want to say. And life is interesting because we can grow. We can always learn something.
Jean-Paul, wonderful to talk to you today.
Thank you for the invitation,
Thank you for
Gerard.
coming in. I know you've been busy, but you've come into the studio, and it's just great to hear about another slice of our wonderful world.
I really enjoyed the invitation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean-Paul.
Thank you, Gerard.